There's this idea we all carry around. You only have one life. Live it to the fullest. Don't waste a single moment. And sure, technically that's true. You get one chronological timeline on this planet, one birth certificate, one final chapter. But what if I told you that within that one life, you're actually living multiple completely different lives? And the person you are right now, reading this, watching this, is not the same person who will exist 5 years from now. Not just older, actually different. Because here's what nobody tells you about having one life. It's not about the quantity of time you have, it's about the quality of transitions you make. Let me start with a story that probably sounds familiar. When I was in my early 20s, I had this 5-year plan, very detailed, very confident. I knew exactly who I wanted to be, where I wanted to live, what success would look like. I had a vision board, I journaled about it, I could describe my future life in vivid detail. Fast forward to today, and I achieved almost none of it. Not because I failed, but because the person who made that plan doesn't really exist anymore. The things that mattered desperately to 22-year-old me, they seem almost quaint now. Not wrong, just from a different lifetime. And this isn't just about getting older or wiser, it's about something more fundamental. The Harvard Happiness Project, which started in 1938 and is still going today, tracked 724 people across their entire lives, 87 years of data. These researchers would ask participants decade after decade, what makes you happy? And here's the wild part. If you read someone's journal entries from when they were 25, then 45, then 65, you'd think you were reading about 3 different people. Their values shifted, their priorities transformed. What brought them joy completely changed. One participant wrote passionately about climbing the corporate ladder at 30, then at 55 wrote about how material success felt hollow. Then at 75 found deep meaning in teaching neighborhood kids to read. Same person, same chronological life, but 3 entirely distinct lives. Think about your own story for a second. Who you were at 15, what you cared about, what you thought would make you happy. Now compare that to who you are today. Different, right? Maybe profoundly different. That's not just growth, that's actually living a new life within your one life. There's this metaphor I keep coming back to. Your life is a tree. One tree, sure, one root system, one trunk, but that tree has branches, and those branches spread in different directions at different times, reaching toward different kinds of light. Some branches are short, some relationships, some careers, some versions of yourself only last a season or 2. Other branches stretch on for decades, and that's exactly how it should be. A tree that only grew in one direction would be unstable, probably wouldn't survive the next storm. Les Brown, the motivational speaker, talks about the Chinese bamboo tree. You water it, fertilize it, care for it every single day for 5 years, and nothing happens. No visible growth, just this stubborn seed underground that seems like it's going nowhere. Then, in year 5, it breaks through the ground and grows 90 feet in 6 weeks. The question people always ask, did it grow 90 feet in 5 years or 6 weeks? And the answer is obviously 5 years. Those 5 years weren't wasted. They were building the foundation that made the explosive growth possible. But here's what I think we miss about that story. The bamboo that breaks through in year 5 is not the same as the seed that went into the ground. It transformed. It became something else entirely, and we do the same thing. Your early 20s aren't preparation for your real life. They are a real life. Your 40s aren't just a bridge to retirement. They're a distinct existence with their own meaning. Each branch of your tree is fully alive in its own moment, not just scaffolding for what comes next. I learned this the hard way. I spent my entire 30s thinking they were some kind of waiting room. Once I get the promotion, once I buy the house, once I find the relationship, then my real life starts. I was so focused on the next branch that I barely lived on the one I was standing on. And then something happened that forced me to wake up. My mom got sick. Not dramatically sick at first, just this slow decline that you could pretend wasn't happening if you wanted to. And I wanted to. I was busy building my next branch. But one day she looked at me and said something I'll never forget. She said, "You know what I regret? Not the things I didn't do, the places I didn't go. I regret the moments I was present for, but not actually present in. I was there, but I was thinking about somewhere else." That hit me like cold water. How many moments had I been physically present but mentally absent? How many branches of my life had I stood on without actually feeling the bark under my feet? Okay, so if we're living all these different lives within one life, is there anything that stays the same? Is there a thread that connects all these versions of yourself? And this is where that Harvard study gets really interesting. Because despite all the changes these people went through, despite becoming almost unrecognizable from decade to decade, there was one thing that consistently predicted happiness across every single phase of life. Not career success, not wealth, not achievement or status or any of the things we obsess over. Relationships, connection, having people in your life who you love and who love you back.
Every single participant, when they were happy, mentioned other people. When they were struggling, it was often because of isolation or fractured relationships. The researchers concluded that the quality of your relationships is the best predictor not just of happiness, but of physical health and longevity. Now, this might sound obvious. Of course, relationships matter. But think about how we actually live. How much time do we spend chasing things that we think will make us happy while neglecting the one thing that actually does? I see this all the time. People working 80-hour weeks to afford a bigger house, but they're never home to be with their family in it. People scrolling through hundreds of shallow connections online while feeling profoundly lonely. People waiting until they're successful enough, put together enough, healed enough to open themselves up to real intimacy. Brené Brown, the researcher who studies vulnerability, talks about this paradox. She spent years trying to understand connection, and what she discovered is that connection requires vulnerability. You have to let yourself be seen, really seen. The messy parts, the uncertain parts, the parts you're not proud of. And we hate that. We want to present the highlight reel. We want to wait until we're perfect before we let people get close. But vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the only path to genuine connection. Brown describes this moment in her research when she realized she had a problem. She was studying all these people who had deep, meaningful relationships, and they all had one thing in common. They believed they were worthy of love and belonging. That's it. They just believed they deserved it. Meanwhile, the people who struggled with connection, they didn't believe they were worthy, so they kept people at arm's length, or they performed constantly, trying to earn love instead of just accepting it. And the brutal truth is, you can't earn your way into worthiness. You either believe you're worthy or you don't, and that belief determines everything. Think about the different branches of your life, the different versions of yourself you've been. Maybe some of those versions felt worthy. Maybe some didn't. And I'm willing to bet the times you felt worthy coincided with the times you felt most connected, most alive, most yourself. Let me tell you about 3 people, 3 very different lives, 3 stories that seem like tragedies until you see the whole picture. There's Oscar, a young boy with cancer. His skin is paper thin, he has no hair, his body is racked with pain. He prays every night for God to take him to heaven, to end his suffering. And his prayers aren't answered, not the way he wants. Instead, Oscar goes through brutal rounds of chemotherapy, surgeries, years of pain. But he survives, and he grows up to become a pediatric oncologist, caring for children with cancer. His prayer to go to heaven gets answered in a different way, by bringing comfort to suffering children, by using his own pain to ease theirs. He creates a kind of heaven on earth. He's ticketed for the other kind eventually, but first, he has work to do here. Then there's Hakim, an immigrant from Turkey who comes to New York looking for a new beginning. He can barely speak English. He runs out of money. he ends up homeless. One night, he's beaten viciously and left for dead in a dumpster behind a pizza restaurant. He can hear the garbage truck coming, the compactor. He's sure he's about to die. He prays for God to watch over his family, to forgive his sins, to welcome him into paradise. But the restaurant owner comes out with one more bag of trash, opens the dumpster, hears a weak voice saying, "Please, help me." Hakeem doesn't die. He recovers. He works at that pizza restaurant. Then he opens his own pizzeria, then 10 more. His entire family from Turkey comes to work with him, and every single day he feeds homeless people for free. He calls them his other family. And every single day he checks the dumpster before the truck comes. His prayer gets answered too, just not on the timeline he expected. And finally, there's Pat, a woman in hospice, dying of pancreatic cancer. She was young once, beautiful, full of life. Now she's frail and fading. She turns to her husband John and asks, "If God gave me another life, would you choose me again, even knowing how it ends?" And John says, "If God gave me 1,000,000 lives, I'd choose you 1,000,000 times. And one day, we'll be together forever." Pat dies. Her prayer for a second chance doesn't get answered in this life, but John carries her with him, and he believes deeply that they'll have that forever eventually. So what do these stories teach us? What does it mean that we have one life, but many lives within it? I think it means we need to stop waiting. Stop thinking that the real version of our life is always just ahead, just around the corner, just after we accomplish the next thing. This branch you're on right now, this is it. This is your real life. The relationships you have today matter today. The person you're becoming matters in the becoming, not just in the arrival. And yeah, you'll change. You'll probably change dramatically. The things you care about now might seem trivial in 10 years. The dreams you have might transform into completely different dreams. That's not failure, that's being alive. But there's something underneath all that change, something that doesn't shift with the seasons or the decades. And it's the human need for connection, for being seen, for loving and being loved, for having people in your life who make the branch you're standing on feel like home. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to be perfect or healed or successful or put together. You just need to believe you're worthy of connection exactly as you are right now, because you are. Oscar's prayer got answered when he stopped waiting for heaven and started creating it for others. Hakeem's prayer got answered when he stopped running from his pain and started using it to feed people who hurt like he hurt. Pat's prayer got answered in John's belief that love doesn't end just because a body does. And maybe your prayers, your deepest wishes for your life, they're getting answered right now in ways you can't see yet, in the relationships you're building, in the person you're becoming, in the small moments of connection that feel insignificant but are actually everything. You have one life, that's true, but that one life contains multitudes, different versions of yourself, different branches reaching in different directions, different seasons of growth and stillness and explosive transformation. The question isn't how to make the most of your one life in some grand, sweeping way. The question is, are you actually present for the life you're living right now? Are you connected to the people who matter? Do you believe you're worthy of love and belonging? Because at the end of all your different lives, when you look back at the tree you grew, you're not going to measure it by height or spread or impressive branching. You're going to measure it by the people who found shade under it, the connections you made, the love you gave and received. That's what transcends all the versions of yourself. That's what makes one life enough. If this resonated with you, I'd love to know, which branch of your tree are you standing on right now? And are you actually present for it? Or are you already reaching for the next one? Drop a comment below. And if you want more conversations like this, hit subscribe. Let's figure this out together.